handicrafts are a great gift for others, but also a great gift to your children. By teaching them the skills of handicrafts, they can boost their confidence, knowing that they can do something with their own two hands, but also having that sense of pride when giving the gift to their loved ones. Let me show you some of the things my kids have been working on as Christmas gifts this year, but also that would make excellent gifts for your children if you are looking for some crafty things to give to them to keep them busy during these cold winter months. Diamond dots are amazing for kids ages 4 and up. Yes, even as low as like 4 years old. I originally got this one for my 8-year-old son, and he has been working on it while we do audiobooks over the last year. But then my 4-year-old got really interested and wanted to do some himself. So we ordered these Star Wars stickers that he has been working on, and we stick them on our computer or other things. And then he has that pride of like, look what I put on my brother's computer. But we also found these really cool gnome ornaments that he is working on to give to his aunts and to his grandparents and just friends this year. Now, diamond dots is still a newer craft. A lot of people that we've already given them to aren't familiar with them, so they're very surprised by it, but also surprised that a 4-year-old can do it. I love that he is working on his dexterity because he has to be so careful about holding the pin correctly and poking the dots right on and putting them where they belong. There are also a lot of these have the alphabet on them that matches the color to the spot that it goes. So he is getting to work on his recognition of the alphabet, and we work on the sounds that those letters make as well. Oh, it's wonderful. He also works on these while we're doing school with my older kids. Diamond dots, you guys. Now, perler beads have been around for a long time, since I was a kid. I remember doing these, and we have specifically gone and purchased more greens and more reds and more whites because we use these a lot around Christmas time. We might make them as ornaments on a tree or just hang them as little extras on the bag so that when my kids go to hand their grandparents their gift bag, it has this little perler bead ornament thing, and they can be like, look, I made that, and they have so much pride and just light up. They also give them to their friends a lot. This is a really cool thing though that I learned this year. If you have a Hobby Lobby near you, you will see all over in all of their aisles, they have these things hanging up, which are just suggestions of what you can make with the items in that area. Now, there were some great perler bead items and ideas in this one, and while I was looking for things for my kids to be doing, because I am newer to the crafting world, I didn't have time to go down every row and just kind of figure out like, what could my kids do that is age appropriate to them? Like, my kids were getting a little bored in the store. I needed to book it along. So I just went down like every row and pulled off all of these free pamphlets of suggestions of things that kids can make, and then brought them home and spread them out in front of my kids and said, what looks good to you? This has been really fun to just flip through and see, and I promise Hobby Lobby is getting all their money back from me. This was a great investment for them because we have found so many great uses for things in here. Actually, a clock is one of those things. I didn't want a round clock hanging up in this particular area of like a gallery wall. I wanted a different shape, and so my son and I realized that we could make our own clocks, and we went in and we picked a board that we liked. He had to drill the hole through the middle to put the kit through that makes it all work and build it. It was so fun. A clock is a great idea for your kids to give too, and they give all kinds of different suggestions of different things you can use, even like pretty plates that you can make clocks out of in here. So go to your local Hobby Lobby and just pick up all of these little pamphlets and see what your kids might be interested in making. Before we move on, tell me in the comments, what are your kids learning? What are their handicrafts that they are enjoying? We want to get into whittling in the future. We have not done that yet. That's on my list for this next year, or wood burning too, I think would be really cool. Tell me down below if you have any experience with that and any recommendations. Let's move on. Needlework is an important skill for your kids to have. Embroidery is a really easy thing. Like, you can have them draw on something. I have a friend that's doing this. She just had her kids draw a picture on a blanket that's gonna be for their dolls, and then they are just using the needle and thread to trace along that that picture that they drew. This is just really good practice for starting off. You can move on and do more intense embroidery. My son has really gotten into some of this, and you can get these iron-on kits too. They're really cheap, like less than $2 for an iron-on kit like this. We also found one, it's called Take a Flight, and it shows all of the airplanes, like different airplanes and throughout history. He's actually going to be working on this next year, doing all of these embroidery pieces, and we're gonna make a quilt, hopefully, that's the goal. But we have been able to embroider on towels for family members, just put them up as wall decorations. This has been really fun. Also, cross stitch is a really great way for kids to learn that, like, that takes really good precision, right, in making those shapes, and they can even see how, like, if you don't do it the same direction each time, it doesn't look quite as nice and uniform. There's all kinds of things you can do there, but it's really good, and it's a really great thing to do while you're sitting and listening to an audiobook or to moms read aloud. Yeah, needlework is really good. Although I will caution, punch needle is amazing. I have really gotten into this craft this year. It is so much fun. The textures are so great, but that needle is really sharp, and you are actively punching it through the fabric over and over. I tried to do this with my son. We made this little ornament that hangs on the tree. I got stabbed once. He may have gotten stabbed. Like, it is just not a great craft for little kids. And so I would say probably 10 years and older, there are some nice kits that you can get. You can also find ideas from your library. Go check out what kind of books they have for suggestions for embroidery, for punch needle, for felting. Felting's one I haven't gotten into yet, but it looks super fun and really cute. And you can also get these kits online. I will link some down below too. I have learned so many of these skills and crafts by watching YouTube videos. That is so much of how we learn. I am here to encourage you in your homeschool journey and with your kids' skills and developments. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to see more in the future. Then you've got your typical crocheting and what's that other one? Knitting. Now, I am not a knitter, but crocheting is pretty easy. I learned how to do it by watching some YouTube videos. It might be really fun if your kids don't know how to crochet already. Just buy them a hook and buy them a spool and find a really good YouTube video for them to watch to be able to make something. One thing that I really enjoy doing is with this scrubby yarn. I just make these little hand scrubbies for dishes. Now, we haven't gotten into soap making or anything like that, but it would be really nice to pair these in a basket along with like that embroidered tea towel or something like that, and just put together a little kit for a loved one. That could be a really neat little idea. They're really quick to whip up, like 10 minutes, and fun for the kids to all kind of participate in different ways. You might also want to add to a basket like this candles. Now, we kind of cheated in making candles this year. What we did was on YouTube, I got this idea to go to Dollar Tree, and you can get these really long tubes of candles that are supposed to burn for like some crazy amount of time, and then you boil it in hot water. All of the wax melts. You're able to lift out the wick out of that. You can put a little hot glue on the bottom, stick it to the bottom of your project, and then pour the wax over into it. Now, we used a foil funnel also to be able to do that. We bought this bottle of maple syrup when we went to Mount Rushmore this summer, and then the kids were really excited to make this candle for their dad, and then we also get to like reuse it. It's so cool, and it's just a really great way to hold that memory. We had so much fun doing this. Yeah, and it's really inexpensive. I mean, Dollar Tree, $1.25, and then we were able to make our own candle out of that. You can also do it with melting waxes, like those smelly ones too, and just pour them in if you just buy your own little wicks and pieces, which are like maybe $3 at Hobby Lobby. So it's a really inexpensive craft to kind of do as a family. Oh, remember those looms from when you were younger, those pot holder looms? Don't forget about those for kids. They keep kids busy for a really long time. You can also rebuy those loops in some not so crazy wild colors. Now, let me signify the importance of these. Yes, they, like, who needs more pot holders or whatever? And they're bright and they don't match people's kitchens necessarily. but I was given one a couple years ago by one of my girls in our children's ministry program, and every time I use it, I remember to pray for her. And write that in your card when your kids are giving it to their friends, their teachers, their loved ones. Just write like, hey, Johnny made this for you. Please remember to pray for him when you use it. Like, what a cool way to get those people to invest back in your children also. Of course, you can make bookmarks, you can use pressed flowers, or write a poem that your kid's been learning that year. What about making books as well? One of my friends, her son is really good at writing stories, so maybe they aren't so crafty with their hands, but they can really tell a good story. Have them write on like a graphic novel style or just their stories. You can buy your kids these double hole punch with these clasps. I'll link them down below. They have been really fun for my kids to create their own books. My friend got this for her son for Christmas to just encourage him in his abilities. Hey, I believe in you. I think you're doing great. Here's how you can write your own books and be able to give those books away. That is so neat. If you're interested in seeing what we got our kids for Christmas, you can click here to see that video, and make sure to subscribe so that you see more videos like this in the future.